All right, my fellow biker brothers and sisters, Bosco. We're going to talk about Planet of the Apes today. We're going to talk a little bit about ape hangers and whether or not you should have them, or at least I'm going to share my opinion on those. So more on that in a second. So ape hangers, we've all seen them in biker movies. They look cool, big, tall, rising handlebars. First question is, what are they? So they're the handlebars that you see in all the biker movies where the guys are up like this. Typically, I don't know what the exact definition is. I always think of ape hangers as having handlebars above your shoulder line. So if you look at my handlebars, my hand is below my shoulder. And once you start getting your hand above your shoulder, that's when you start getting into ape hangers. So the higher you go, the bigger the ape hangers. I think these are like mini ape hangers, regular ape hangers, and then the extended ape hangers. So the first question is, should you have them? So in order to answer that, I should say, the second question is, should you have them? And the simple answer to that question is no. Ape hangers are completely stupid in my eyes. I don't think that they are cool. They're actually unsafe. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen a couple videos where guys were able to scream around corners and do some canyon carving with them, but it's still unsafe, and let's talk about why. So with your hand below your shoulders, and you look at the normal positioning of your handle grips, I can reach out and grab my clutch very easily. You notice that I do a lot of two fingering, clutch grabbing, or covering, I should say, and I can swing my bars from lock to lock pretty easily. I've got some videos coming out on kind of a couple of exercises to really kind of help you with your turning, but I have full range of my arms down here, and it's easily for me to grab my controls here. If we kind of do another demonstration here. This is not an exact replica because of the bend of the bars, but you get the point. The higher that I have my hands, the harder it is for me to wrap my hands around to grab the controls. So you can see here, it's easy for me to do that. The higher that I do that, this angle right here, particularly on my wrist, becomes more extreme, and it makes it harder for me to reach out and grab my controls. Now you might say, well, just flip the controls up so that it's the same angle. The problem with that is the geometry actually changes how you sit on the bike. So there's no way to actually change the geometry of the bars up without affecting your riding position. The other thing too is, and this is probably a better example of why you shouldn't have ape hangers. Look at this, I've got full range here, as I just showed you with my bars on a lock. And in fact, go grab yourself a broomstick. You'll see what I mean. If I'm doing it up here, I don't have as much range, and you'll notice that you don't necessarily feel as in control as something down here on your chest. And in fact, when you stop and think about it, this literally just hit me. You know, when you push and pull, this is kind of like doing a modified, or excuse me, it's not doing modified. You're using the same muscles that you do when you do a bench press or with barbells when you're over your chest like this. When you do it entirely up here, you're mainly relying on just your arm strength. So I would much rather use a bigger grouping of muscles, or have a couple of groupings of muscles working together on that. So you have a lot more control. It's much more relaxed, I think. Some people prefer the ape hanger, saying that they're more comfortable. I don't believe that, but to each his own, I guess. but you've got way more control over the motorcycle when you're not using ape hangers. The geometry, as we just showed you, is all out of whack when you use ape hangers as well, and it's just not as safe. If you like it for the cool factor, my gosh, please feel free, toy with your own life. But if you're looking for safety, ape hangers are not it. So, until next time, my brethren and sisters, get out, ride your bike, and have a good one.